Hello, this is Patience Xena. She's anti-male. That's why her channel has almost 200,000 subs. And she asked the question, why do female prison officers keep sleeping with inmates? The answer is because they want to. That's it, Xena. Because they want to. But we'll hear what she has to say.
Hello, my dears. So, recently in the media, there have been a lot of reports about female prison officers sleeping with male inmates. And
Just like there's been a lot of female teachers sleeping with underage boys. It's all coming out now, Xena.
according to the Daily Mail, one female prison officer is sacked nearly every month over flings with male inmates, prompting questions over whether they can be trusted in jails holding the opposite sex. So, yes,
I have actually nothing against female officers banging male prisoners as long as male guards were allowed to do the same with female prisoners. It happens.
these shenanigans have indeed stirred up some debate about whether or not we should be keeping prisons completely segregated, meaning only female prison guards in female prisons and only male prison guards in male prisons. Because
Really, how would you do that, Zena? How would you say no to your gender? No one's done it yet, so.
quite clearly, some people have no idea how to behave. And there have been multiple cases of sexual misconduct, like this one, for example. This woman was filmed bonking a prisoner in his cell while on duty. The video was recorded by another inmate and it was then uploaded online. Apparently, he was recording it because she intended to post it on her OF page.
So she was going to post it anyway on OnlyFans. But the issue is someone else beat her to it. She wasn't making money off of banging another guy. Hey, there's nothing prostitution like there, is it? Jeez.
I don't know if that's true or not because they discovered that she'd had an OF page that was kind of inactive. So I don't know if she actually intended to do that or if that's just a story that people made up because of the fact that she had a page. But the footage somehow made its way
Okay. I believe that.
onto the internet and then it went completely viral. And so she was then pursued by police and they arrested her at the airport as she was attempting to flee the country. At her court
She was trying to flee the country. Well, that doesn't say she was guilty, does it?
hearing, she did admit to the fact that she had had another incident with the same prisoner earlier that day. And they
Ah,
also discovered during her court hearing that she'd had at least one other incident with this same prisoner at another time. In the judge
she was really turned on by this guy. See, guys, hey, look, you're right. Women are attracted to men. You just have to be minors or criminals.
judge's words, the video was not an isolated incident and she pled guilty to misconduct in public office. As a result of that, she was sentenced to 15 months, serving half of that in custody and the other half on license. So the video that she posted online following
Actually, that's pretty good considering I don't think it's a crime to have sex with people, but okay, go ahead.
being caught for all of this was quite interesting because she seemed a lot more interested by she seemed a lot more bothered by the fact that people were monetizing off of her story and some people were choosing to impersonate her on OF.
Yeah, monetizing, right? It's like, hey, where's my slice? Why would you care if guys monetized, right? She wasn't going to use her OnlyFans, was she? So what'd she care?
Hello once again, Instagram.
As usual, someone who doesn't know how to do makeup. I bet I could do makeup better than this woman.
I hope you can appreciate this is going to be a very awkward and uncomfortable conversation for me to have.
No, it isn't, because if it was, you wouldn't have it. No one's forcing you to make this conversation, so you don't find this awkward. You're just pissed.
Just thought I really needed to come on here and clarify a lot of things. First thing being, there has been a lot, and I mean a lot, a tremendous amount of fake profiles of me that have been monetizing off of my misfortune, this scandal that the entire world has somehow managed to be involved in.
What do you mean somehow managed? Some guy uploaded it to the internet. That's how it was done.
I have not monetized one bit. at all. This is my only social media platform and I only just activated it again. So
Again, you mean you were booted out before? So you don't know how to behave yourself. Okay.
if you do come across fake profiles of me asking for money, please don't fall for it. There's been a lot of GoFundMes and fake OnlyFans accounts that are not me. And I do apologize if you have fallen for it. I honestly, but from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. But I really want to clarify that this is my only social media account and I just came back on. On the topic of impersonation, I thought it very important for me to address this very distasteful subject of OnlyFans
So you're a prison guard. Okay.
creators impersonating and pretending to be me and recreating the scenario of said scandal, which I am involved in. Very, very,
When you go to work, do you wear that makeup job?
very distasteful for you to monetize or advertise yourselves as me for OF content.
So it's distasteful, but it's not fraudulent. Okay.
It does interfere with my trial, but furthermore, it is incredibly, incredibly distasteful. Please, if you are an OF creator, refrain from tagging said prison. We all know the name of the prison. Please refrain from tagging HMP Wandsworth on your
If we all know it, then you would name it. You would name the prison.
stupid videos. There are other jails in the world. You don't have to pretend to be me. It's very distasteful. Thank you.
Well, you've been called out. What can I say, lady? I mean, I have nothing against you banging guys in prison. Nothing. It would probably, hey, God, everyone listening, women like this, female guards like this would probably cut down on the rape in prisons. I'm glad you're there. I'm angry, or at least disappointed that they fired you. You were doing a great job. If there were female guards banging male prisons, the rape would go.
And lastly, I wanted to tell you all that you do not know my side of the story. The media has a great way of getting a narrative and twisting it.
Lady, either you banged this guy or you didn't. I mean, what's the problem? I have no problem with you banging these male prisoners, nothing. What would you add to this story?
For its own benefit. The media love any story to be salacious and sensational, and they sensationalize everything. You don't know my side of the story, and we'll leave it
You're either guilty or you're not, so there you go.
as that for now.
I am really curious to know what she could possibly say that would help people to understand why she ended up doing what she was doing with a prison inmate. Like, what side of your story could you possibly share that would make people understand why you did that? Unless she's going to claim that it was like a non-consensual situation, I have no idea. A lot of people have also pointed to the fact that she was apparently married while she was doing this.
Oh my God, this is so typical. Hey, Zena, this is so typical of your gender, right? You get some male provider and then you bang some guy that you're really turned on. It's usually an underage boy or a thug. I love this. I love this story so much, guys.
Did look into that, and it is true she was married when she did this, but her and her husband are apparently swingers.
Monogamy is a social construct that I think needs to be dismantled.
The marriage should be dismantled. If you're into monogamy, why bother with marriage? Just bang who you like. Marriage is about finding a male provider, guys. It's a one-way street. The guy gets nothing, the woman gets it all. Why you get married for? Forgive the voice, I got a cold.
Opening up our relationship has allowed us to form a deeper connection with each other.
So it seems as though this is just their thing, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, while this whole
Well, what's this got to do with the female guard? It has nothing to do with her anyway. Zena.
thing was not a laughing matter, I did personally find it hilarious to watch the judge quote the inmate who was making the recording.
The second prisoner recorded events and provided a commentary by way of encouragement.
The prisoner recorded it. Why? Because he knows he's in trouble if he doesn't. That's why.
including saying, "Guys, we made history. This is how we live at Wandsworth, bruv. And you know you are a gangster."
I don't know. There's just something about
Hey guys, here are all you free guys who are working like dogs. The male prisoners are having a better time than you.
a really posh judge using street slang that just tickles my funny bone. Then there's also this story of the 26-year-old
Well, he was just quoting some guy, so what can I say, Xena?
woman who was found to have formed an intimate relationship with an inmate. The relationship included
That woman was jailed? That's one thing. Look, I'm not against prostitution. It's just that I don't believe men should be jailed for it. So why should women be jailed for it? Do you agree with that, Xena? I want to know, Xena, do you agree with that? Are you pro-prostitution or are you anti-prostitution?
over 140 phone calls between the two, as well as money transfers, and also she was found to be feeding him confidential prison information. According to the court,
Wow, this woman was really giving it up for this guy.
she was boasting to an ex-officer about performing intimate acts on this inmate. At the sentencing
Wow, she was boasting about it. Yeah. You think you got access to these guys? No, they love me. This is awesome.
the judge said that she was corrupted and manipulated by an experienced criminal rather than the other way
Bullshit. Bullshit, dude. She's in charge. She wasn't corrupted by anybody.
around. He acknowledged that she was young and immature and regrettably susceptible to manipulation.
Then why did they hire her? Hey, Xena, why did these guys hire her then? If she was young and she was susceptible, don't they have criteria? Like, don't they have, some kind of hoops to jump through for these women? Or they just give jobs to women?
But emphasized that inexperience is no excuse for her misconduct. I don't know. 26 is young, but it's not that young. So turns
Exactly, Xena. It's not young at all. She's an adult in every sense of the term, of the word. She has no excuses.
out she was actually
She doesn't need excuses anyway. She wanted to bang a guy, so she did.
21 when she had the relationship with the inmate, but she was 26 when she was
Okay, sorry, this is frozen.
sentenced. But nonetheless, she was sentenced to 21 months in prison. The judge said the sentence could have been longer, but he reduced it purely as an act of mercy.
No, yeah. You're female, so I've got to punish you for giving pleasure to a man. That's what it is, everyone. This woman is guilty of giving pleasure to a man. It's pleasure to a man that they're upset. But they're going to reduce as much as they can because you're female. You can't get any more anti-male than this.
Considering her status as a mother and the impact on her young daughter. The article goes on to say,
oh, the mother and daughter thing. Notice, hey guys, when they jail men, they never mention the man's wife and children, do they? They don't care.
That the relationship was discovered when she tried to smuggle in a SIM card to communicate with the inmate. This then triggered an investigation, and then that's how they discovered that they'd had over 140 phone calls between them, as well as love letters that were sent to her home or were found in her home.
Wow. This woman, she loved the thug.
And they also discovered the illegal.
Hey guys, this is what romance is. Has nothing to do with the quality of you, right? This is what romance is.
Illegal money laundering activity as well that they were doing together. And then there's also this.
Holy snap! She turned into a criminal herself. It's not actually amazing. I want to say amazing, but it isn't. It's actually standard. This is what women are.
Story in The Guardian titled, "She was a prison officer, he was a convicted rapist. How did she fall for him?"
Because that's what turned her on. Xena, that's what turned her on. Women have rape fantasies. I mean, this is it. She had nothing to fear from this guy. She was in control. She was the guard. He was the prisoner. She had nothing to fear. So she was getting her freak on. Do continue.
The article tells a story about a female prison officer who began a inappropriate relationship with a convicted rapist, which is mind-blowing to me because
It's sad you can't say the word rapist. Really, that's sad in this day and age.
it's one thing to to enter a relationship with an inmate. It's another thing to enter into one whose conviction is centered around violence against women.
Well, that's what turned her on. Probably what turns you on too, Xena. Just admit it.
Like, I don't personally understand like why you'd want to get into a relationship with someone who's capable of committing such acts against women, especially
Because it turns her on and she's in charge. She has no fear. If he started something funny in the cell, she just have to scream for help. That's it.
when you consider how hard it often is for women to get convictions for this kind of stuff, because it does
Well, the only reason is because you need evidence and they lack evidence. What can I say?
end up turning into a he said she said, because often it's hard to sometimes prove these things. So
Well, there's so many false accusations now. I'm glad it's like that.
fact that he was actually convicted, and she would know that because as a guard she'd have access to his file to see exactly what he was convicted of. I don't think she actually checked though, because when you
Yes, she did. She knew exactly what she was getting to. Don't bother lying. Xena, don't bother me with your lies.
read the article, she talks about how he basically told her a completely different story, which wasn't actually the truth, and
Yeah, she was lying. You think a guard didn't understand what he was in for? Well, you're spreading the lie, but I'm not fooled. She knew exactly what he was in for. That turned her on, Xena.
kind of just went along with it. And I'm just thinking, girl, you literally have access to his file. Why not just look to
Because she did, Xena.
see what he was convicted of? But she didn't. So, But anyway,
Yes, she did. And she liked what she heard. She liked what she read.
their relationship began in the summer of 2022 when he gave her a magazine that concealed a note with his phone number. For some reason, all of these inmates just seem to have phones. Like, I guess it's a lot more common for them to have phones than I thought, because they all seem to have phones, and that's how they seem to be texting their prison bays. She said at first she didn't intend to engage.
I think that's odd too. But I guess they're not into isolation because that's what the phones are. Phones are an access to the outside world. I gotta say.
With him, or to humor him when he was trying to give her attention, but after some internal conflict.
Okay, so he hit on her and she went for it. So Xena, she saw this love letter or this come on, and then she didn't go check what he was in for. She knew what he was in for. And the reason why he's hitting on her because she gave the signals. One thing about the thugs, they really have a better understanding of women than the average guy.
Yeah, she decided, screw it. Why not take a chance at love with a convicted rapist? I mean, what if he ends up being the one who got away? She said that he came into her life during a time where she felt vulnerable and she felt kind of isolated.
No, she feels none of those. She wasn't isolated. He was the one behind bars, not her. She was turned on. So she is lying.
She felt like she didn't have a lot of support. He showed her a lot of
A
kindness.
lot of support from what and who? What do you mean she didn't? About what? What didn't she have support over? This is more bullshit.
This, and he gave her a lot of attention, and I guess that was enough for her. They then started texting, and then they started entering their relationship, and it soon then progressed into a
That was a good-looking woman, sorry. She has OnlyFans. She had all kinds of attention from men. Cena. So this is all bullshit on her part.
physical relationship. And this woman fell hard for this man, okay? She was doing all sorts of stuff for him. She met his parents, she met his friends, and she developed relationships with them. And so it got a lot more serious than you would think. She also fell pregnant by this guy, but she did end up...
Holy shit. She didn't even wear protection. Women, hey, Xena, women have protection for what? Since 1961 for sure. And she wasn't even using it? This thug must have forced her not to wear it, right? Even though she has all the power.
Suffering a miscarriage. Apparently the inmate was really gutted about it, and so he convinced...
So this guy's such a bad guy, but he's gutted by the idea that his child didn't make it? I thought he was a rapist. This isn't logical, is it, guys?
To do this insane thing, which was to smuggle in a syringe because he planned to fill it with his DNA, shall we say. So
his sperm? I don't know why you can't say sperm. So this guy, he wasn't all about sex then, was he? He was about making babies. I thought guys were all just about sex.
that she could impregnate herself because he really, really wanted to have a baby with her for whatever reason. Some people are living...
Well, he gained his attachment for her. He bonded with her. That's why. For you to ask that question shows you that you, as a woman, don't believe men have empathy for other people or can bond with other people. You really see us, Cena, as subhumans. But this woman bypassed all the guys drooling over her on OnlyFans to get together with the thug. What does that say about the character of the two genders?
Literal soap opera lives, because what the hell? But to wrap up this story, she agreed to try and smuggle in the syringe, and this would end up being her downfall because this is what ultimately led to her being caught, because she was found trying to smuggle in the syringe. Right. This then prompted an investigation. She was arrested for misconduct in public office, and so she resigned. But for whatever reason, she still continued on with the relationship. He was relocated, I believe, to
Not whatever reason. The reason is she loves the thugs. You women love the thugs. Nice guys make you puke. That's the reason.
Another prison, and she was traveling all the way to this prison, which was apparently a good distance away. She was traveling all the way there to see him. He was apparently a lot less nice to her at this point. He was making comments about her which were quite hurtful. He was...
Well, that's brutal from this rapist, right? He had comments that weren't nice.
Always being really critical of her and nitpicky. You know, who could have predicted that a man who's literally in prison for violence against women could be quite a toxic person to be in a relationship with? I mean...
Well, she preferred that to all the nice guys that would shack up with her. What can I say, Cena?
If only she had clues and signs that he could be this way. So even after...
Well, she had his records, so she knew.
He got relocated to another prison. She was still having communication with him through his family until she was eventually forced to stop by the police intervening. She was then put on trial for her misconduct and she was sentenced to 2 years in prison. However, she then suffered a stroke which left her paralyzed from the chest down. And
holy snap. This is a young woman.
As a result of that, they decided to suspend her license. I guess they thought that the stroke and her new paralysis was punishment enough, so they decided not to put her in prison. On a bright...
Men don't get that, Xena. Guy gets a stroke and paralyzed. They throw him behind bars. They throw the book at him. Just thought I'd let you know that.
To note, she did eventually end, or I'm not sure. She was probably forced to. I have no idea whether she chose to just end the relationship.
Well, he probably ended it, right? Once he saw her in a wheelchair, he says, I can't bang that. I got other female guards thirsty for me.
With this guy, or if that was part of her court order. But she did eventually move on to having a relationship with someone else who I really hope is a normal functioning member of society.
So she got herself a provider. That is so sad. That is so sad.
They got married, and he now.
Oh my God. So this guy got married. Does he know her past? Does he know her past? You know something, Xena? I suspect if he found out, he would still keep going. This is the nature of men.
Cares for her as she is now severely paralyzed, and so yeah, it sounds like she's doing well. She found love in the end with someone who's a bit more healthy. Now, what's really
No. She found a sucker, Xena. That's what she found. She found a sucker.
interesting to me is the public reaction to these stories, because
Oh,
people
really?
can't seem to agree on who the victim in these cases are. Some
They want to blame the man, but they don't know how to. That's what's going on.
people believe it's the female prison guards, and some people believe that it's the male inmates. No one can seem
How would it be the male inmates? They're inmates. They have no power.
to agree who is the one manipulating who here and who is the one taking advantage of who. There are some
Bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. She's the guard. She's the one with the power. She's the one manipulating.
people who believe that the male inmates are the ones who are the victims in this and that they are the vulnerable ones, with many people, or some people rather, arguing that they are vulnerable because of the fact that they can't truly consent because of their circumstances,
Yeah.
and also arguing that the reason why we don't view them as victims is because of our sexist beliefs about men and how we don't really tend to actually acknowledge male victims. With some
Thank you for admitting that. Whoever made that argument was 100% correct. These men have zero power. They're behind bars. But because they're male, they want to paint them as the bad guys and they got people in control.
I'm saying that if the roles were reversed, we probably would be treating this completely different. Like this
We wouldn't be probably 100% for a fact. Those guards would get more than 2 years. If they were male guards banging female prisoners, they would lynch those guys.
person, for example, who posted, just a reminder to mentally reframe the story for if a male prison guard did the same thing to a female prisoner. How would you feel about it? Male prisoners are indeed vulnerable because they are completely dependent on prison staff for everything. A prison guard
Exactly. Thank you.
can make life easy for a prisoner, or they can make life hell for a prisoner.
Yeah.
And don't forget that many, if not most, prisoners have mental health problems and literacy issues, and even learning impairments. So
Yeah, exactly. Women are really turned on by these caged thugs.
this prison guard took advantage of her position of a vulnerable inmate, even if the prisoner appeared to consent to it. What choice did he really have? And was he even really capable of making that choice? And the prison guard has received all sorts of training and support on how to not shag. Shag means to bang for my non-British viewers. It's just a slang term for bumping nasties, as I've heard some.
Yeah, we all saw what's that film in the 90s? The one with Dr. Evil. You guys know what I'm talking about. We all saw that. We know what shag means.
Americans say. That felt so cringe to say, and I'm sure it's probably cringe to hear me say, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
And the prison guard has received all sorts of training and support on how to not shag the inmates, so she's deliberately ignored all of this in favor of her actions. The fact that we even need training and support
She knows what he was in for. Xena.
in order for prison guards to not sleep with inmates is kind of crazy to me. And also, what would that training even entail? Like, I'm very curious. How does one support a prison guard during such a situation? Jenna, are you getting urges to
Well, for guys, there's no support. They're just criminals and they're thrown away. All right. Let's get past this.
led to the debate about whether or not we should be keeping prisons very segregated, and a lot of people are having the discussions about whether or not we should even be having female guards.
You know, some guys, I don't actually mind this. The male prisoners aren't banging each other, aren't forcing themselves on each other if they got women that are willing to spread their legs. This is a positive.
In male prisons in the first place, because some believe that these kind of things are going to continue to happen because there are some women who have an attraction to these kinds of men, you know, the bad
Yeah, they're called women, Zena. They're called women.
boys, or just the very, very criminal men. I mean, after all, Ted Bundy and all these other crazy serial killers receive fan mail and love letters in prison. So these kind of women do exist. There's a very small minority of women who have very...
No. This is what you are. You know, this is a loneliness epidemic. In other words, the average guy, the average good guy, is being deselected. No, this isn't a minority. This is what you are. Xena.
questionable attractions. And so some people think that even allowing women to work within this industry will naturally attract those kind of women. And so of course you're going to end up having these misconduct cases because you are essentially attracting the type of women who would sleep with inmates. Personally, I think that even if you weren't attracting that specific type of woman who is attracted to criminals, I do think that whenever you just have males and females in the same space, you run the risk of them sleeping with each other.
Hey, thanks for admitting that. All right.
In every context. And so I think that's the reason why this is happening, not necessarily just because it might attract that kind of women. I don't really think there's really that much you can do about it. You can put rules in place, you can give training, you can do all sorts, but there are going to be some people who do this. Now, the media does seem to have a preference for reporting on misconduct cases that involve a female prison guard.
Of course they do, Xena. Because you'll get eyes. No one gives a shit about guys banging female prisoners because they just call them criminals, right? People are in denial of female nature. That's why it's so attractive.
And a male inmate. And so there is a lot more focus on when female prison guards do this stuff. But when you actually look in...
Yeah, and you know something? Because it also takes the curtain down. The man behind the curtain, right? In Wizard of Oz. Never mind that man behind the curtain. That's what this is about.
Into it, there is no shortage of male misconduct cases, both towards men and women. It seems like male prison guards are more equal opportunists when it comes to their misconduct. And people who have worked in...
So what? What's it got to do with these women banging these guys? Nothing.
Prisons have also noted just how common this kind of stuff is.
Thank you. It's common. Then this isn't a case that they're a minority. Yeah.
Across the board, with some even going online to share their own experiences and what they've witnessed through working in the field. Female correction officer here. I've worked at both types of prisons, but I currently work in a co-ed county facility. The officers are not segregated from working cross-gender blocks. We've had both male and female officers get jammed up for effing around with inmates, as well as nurses, treatment staff, kitchen staff, etc.
Wow, kitchen staff, treatment staff, nurses, right.
Well, people are busy with everything but their actual jobs. It does seem...
Well, they're busy in prisons, aren't they? They're not very busy in real life, or I should say, outside life, are they? Which goes to show you that the thugs are preferred. Cena.
Like the female correction officers slash nurses are more frequently caught for talking to an inmate on the tablets or for doing inappropriate acts or something. But the male officers get in way deeper with it, like bringing things in, effing on the blocks, putting thousands of dollars in her books for comedy.
Yeah. Men have to pay. The relationship between men and women is one of prostitution. Xena.
Commissary or bailing them out. Then, when she gets out, she bails on him. At least that's how it's been in my.
That's right. She's willing to put up with the guy since she has no choice. And then she dumps him once she's free. That is so female typical.
Facility. Personally, I don't have a problem with working cross-gender blocks. Some female inmates who try to start stuff with female officers just respond better to male officers and vice versa. As long as you can do your job without getting caught up in something, I don't think it's an issue. What's also really interesting about the misconduct cases that I was looking into is that it does seem as though while both male and female prison guards seem to commit misconduct, the way they do it is different. So women are more likely to commit relationship style misconduct, which
No, it's not relationship, it's sex. Don't bother doing this horseshit where you want to cloud the issue. These women were just banging male inmates.
is what tends to lead to them having higher cases of substantiated cases, kind of similar to what that correction officer was saying, how the female prison guards and the nurses are more often caught because usually they'll be discovered talking to each other on the tablet or doing or something like that. I don't know.
So they can't keep their mouth shut. Right. Other than that, there's no difference.
Seems like women are a lot more sloppy with it because they tend to just leave more trails. Also, pregnancy.
This is strange because women are really good at cheating on their husbands. But when it comes to these thugs, these women lose their brains.
Happen too, and so that's also evidence that something was going on. So it is quite interesting how the female misconduct cases tend to form in the form of like relationship style stuff.
No. The guys who bang women, you admit it. The male guards were like bringing all kinds of stuff into to these female prisoners. If they were just banging them, that would be it. You're spreading propaganda now, Xena.
Men are also likely to engage in these relationship style misconduct, but they are also significantly more likely than women to commit actual clear-cut SA, as well as other things like coercion. They're also a lot more likely to commit.
Oh, I see. So when male guards do it, it's coercion. But female guards do it, it's just them being in love. Right. To these male guards that are, I should say, male prisoners that are stuck behind bars. Right.
Force-based assaults on inmates. Female prison guards also seem to be more likely to get caught because along with leaving trails of evidence, they also, the male inmates also seem to be a lot more likely to brag about it with other inmates and stuff like that because I guess it's seen as a flex.
It is a flex, that's right. Women get sex on tap, Xena. Men don't, so that it's a flex.
Able to be doing what they're doing. I do also wonder if that's the reason why male prison guards experience harsher punishments for their misconduct compared to their female counterparts. Because when
they get punished more because they're male. That's it.
I was looking into it, I found that female prison guards, outside of the cases we've discussed in this video, are often more likely to be fired for their misconduct, while male prison guards are more likely to be prosecuted. And that could...
There you go. There you go. Women are merely fired. The males are jailed. There you go. So there's sexism built right into the system. Thank you for admitting that.
Be the reason for the difference, because if female prison officers are more likely to engage in seemingly consensual relationships with
No, they aren't. The male guards are also engaging in consensual relationships. They're just punished where the women aren't.
While male prison guards are more likely to commit SA, coercion, or force-based offenses, then that could
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
be why they get harsher consequences, because maybe the relationship style misconduct often gets treated more like an inappropriate workplace affair rather than a heinous crime, leading them to be fired rather than prosecuted. And I guess in the
Yeah, that's sexism, period.
case of the three
Against men.
women that we've discussed in this video, the reason why they were probably prosecuted was because they were doing other stuff along with the misconduct, like
what? Other stuff like what?
filming what they were getting up to and putting it online, smuggling things in for their inmate boyfriends, or or committing crimes for the inmate outside of prison, and also giving them access or feeding them confidential prison information. Now, in terms of what we do about all this, because it
You
seems
just described everything that female guard did. So there's no excuse to jail men, to jail male guards, and simply fire female guards.
to be happening in British prisons more than anywhere else. Maybe it's just because I live in Britain, so obviously I see more news related to that, or there's something really wrong with our prison system. This has led to the conversation of should we be
I'm sure this is worldwide.
segregating prisons. Personally, I can understand why people think that would be a good idea, because if you do have these misconduct cases, then
I don't actually. I like the fact that these male prisoners were getting banged by female guards, because that means they're not banging other male prisoners. Xena, it destroys, or at least puts a damper on, the rape culture that's in prison. So I hope it continues. I'm going to stop it here, guys, because we've said everything we need to say.